All right, so pretty straightforward green Stompy deck. We've got Llanowar Elves and Lovestruck Beast at the bottom end of the curve. We got some other fat boys like Rhonas, Steelleaf, and Yorvo. We got Barkhide Troll and Scooze in the 2 slot. We roll on up into Questing Beast, a smattering of Planeswalkers, and a couple of Great Henge here. What are my thoughts? I think the one thing that maybe doesn't quite make sense to me is we have 4 copies of Castle Garenbrig in this deck, which I guess is like mostly a free roll because you generally have a forest, but like I guess this technically activates Rhonas' activation for 1 mana cheaper because it can be used on activated abilities as well, so maybe that's why it's the inclusion. I do think that when we get the new green Bolt Land, the mythic spell forest split card in Zendikar coming up, you'll probably want to cut just 4 lands from the deck and add 4 of those, so they're lands that are spells sometimes. Maybe you cut 1 spell and 3 lands, so you're technically up a land, but I think you definitely play 4 of those easily in this archetype. So let's go ahead and jump on into some games here with this. And to set a low bar, I expect it to be better than Burn. We are not playing Psycho lands that come into play tapped in my aggro deck. No. Stream title update, thank you. Right on time, Llanowar Elves. Welcome to the party. No, Burn is excellent, and we're still playing it. What you currently see on your stream is a lie. I think I'm killing these Snoops. Maybe I'm supposed to just kill the Prospector. This is Burn, and we're very color screwed. Yeah, exactly. It's just the Prospector with the 2nd Snoop on top. Just do this to slow them down while we try and develop. Let me force a resync for you, Lyrics. Normally it syncs every hour or 2. Should pop up for you now. I just forced a manual. Think it's just kill Chieftain, play another troll here. I mean, to be fair, Kenix, I'm always up this early. That's just, now I'm live this early. The Mythic Invitational this weekend is definitely going to reaffirm the idea that Magic the Gathering is a skill-based game that in no way resembles gambling. As people roll up their sleeves and roll some dice to see what their Muxuses do. So I think this is definitely a ram through matchup and a... I would zoom in on ram through for you, but this wonderful client doesn't let me zoom in on borderless cards here because it's too busy putting my opponent's sleeve animation over it. So ram through is a piece of removal, so we're going to board it in here. This is a Great Henge matchup. I feel like it's probably not, huh? What if I cut these and then just, like, cut a land? I'm dragging the curve down. I think I like it. So, I wonder what Wizards' tournament procedure is going to be this weekend. So, fun fact, when Legion War Boss was bugged for months on end, and they had multiple competitive tournaments where people played Legion War Boss, competitors in those tournaments were required to verbally announce to the person sitting at the computer across from them that they were about to play Legion War Boss, so that way their opponent could manually work around the client being bugged. That being said, that's not a possibility for these play from home tournaments, right? So, like, are these competitors going to be required to, like, message their opponents on Discord or something when they're about to do something that could impact Phyrexian Tower? Because Phyrexian Tower is bugged going into the tournament this weekend. What's the bug? The tower does not give you priority in all the situations where it's supposed to give you priority. Man, this was a really easy game of Magic, huh? Lock these. Ugh. Yeah, the Legion War Boss arena didn't used to stop before it went to combat and made it so good. Is the plural of Muxus Muxai? Asking the real questions. One, two, three. It's just curvamentary. What could it be? The plural of Muxus is on to game 2, I guess. Is this it? Are we gonna get turn 3 Muxus? Hit me, dealer! Roll them dice! Wow, only going to have a turn 4 Muxus. Opponent is pretty unlucky. Hit me, dealer. Yay! Magic! Magic! An incredibly skill-based, riveting gameplay where players engage in strategic card games to determine who is the better player. You aren't even dead this turn, Jeff. Why are you complaining, Jeff? They can't literally kill you this turn. You've got this, Jeff. Set, sir. Hi, win. Thank you for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Are we sacrificing goblins trying to cast another spell? Because you cast this card, opponent. Our opponent is very confused as to what they are and aren't allowed to do, chat. Our opponent is currently very confused and thinks they can cast another Muxus. Nailed it. They just sacked their Muxus and a bunch of other stuff because they thought they could cast another Muxus and they didn't. They couldn't. Do-do-do. Do-do-do. We're dead though, right? I can't win. Like they get to Muxus next turn, I'm still just dead. They didn't defeat themselves, chat. Their deck's really good. I can attack for 9. Ram through only deals excess damage if the creature you control has trample. They have a Skirt Prospector on top of their deck, chat. None of these trample. I suppose I can ram through the Goblin War Chief. And then I can ram through the Goblin War Chief and hope they don't find another Haste Goblin. Maybe we get really lucky and they concede in response, not reading my card. I think this is the play to win line after they messed up. We have to just hope that they don't find another haster. Hey, Agent Boy Bio, thank you for the quarter of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for the prime. So we're shipping your Bezo bucks this way this month. Their play pattern suggests they don't have it. No, last turn they made 6 mana. Yeah, last turn they took game actions implying they had another Muxus. They just forgot they had Iron Crag Feet. Okay, they missed on a haster, right? Are they dead? I think they're dead, right? Because they don't have 2 blockers for my Questing Beast and Steel Leaf Champion. Nailed it. God bless America, my country. 'Tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of the I sing. Bum, 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 bum. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Yeah, Pelly, it's something. There is a reason why I'm on the 1 Magic deck a day plan until the new set drops. I am looking forward to having a rotation and having a standard format hopefully worth playing. So that way we can, like, yeah. I don't know. Maybe Wizards will do what's right and they'll address some of the issues in Historic after the Invitational this weekend, but I'm also not holding my breath. So, the RTX Voice doesn't... The RTX Voice isn't a compressor. It's not a limiter. The RTX Voice doesn't trigger when I get loud, chat. The RTX Voice triggers for certain frequencies, which is why the children sound strange with the RTX Voice. So it's not that the RTX Voice is clipping me out. It's that the RTX Voice doesn't like certain ranges of voices. RTX Voice is a piece of software that filters out surrounding noise using a computer learning algorithm. So for example, when my air conditioning unit that's like 8 feet that way is running during the summer, you literally can't hear it while I'm streaming over my microphone because RTX Voice filters it out. Yeah, it's like a highly specialized noise gate that instead of listening for a certain threshold of sound, it listens for specific types of sounds. And believe it or not, because there's bias in these things, the RTX voice is incredibly sexist and largely doesn't like higher pitched voices, which is why when I get pitchy, it filters me out. Because they largely trained their AI with male voices. It doesn't work well with high-pitched and female sounds. Because when you train your AI with the sexist data set, you get sexist results. Scoos, you lose, chat. Or in this case, we scoos, they lose. Oh, I should have tapped the elf, right? I would have had one more green source here. Skillfully outplayed our mono green opponent in the mirror there. Definitely had nothing to do with us drawing much better than them. How do we want to board the mirror? Am I supposed to bring in Gemrazers because they have Great Henges too? Nah, I wouldn't go there, Vela. It's almost assuredly because they didn't use a diverse data set. Branarski, thanks for the 5 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. You like Gemrazer over Steel Leaf Champion because there's a good chance they always have a blocker for it. I like that thought. Like giving like this trample to his big game. Or giving Rhonas trample seems sick. Bringing like a ram through as an extra piece of removal. A lot of the Collected Company variations also play some Great Henges. How much do you think the new spell lands will balance out flooding and land screw? I'm someone that understands Magic's a game with a lot of variables in it, and I don't think that you can really accurately predict something like that without having hands-on experience. So, I think the answer is a non-zero amount, but to what degree exactly is definitely something you need to play games with. Belcher's going to be great until we get Force Survey. We are definitely doing a Belcher League when the new cards drop on Moto. Probably not the first few days, but like the week after we'll do one. Opponent conceded the match, let's see. one of the nice things about doing a split schedule like I plan to now is I should be able to fit in 6 hours worth of content every day still now. So it'll give me more of a chance to play a variety of things. Fit in the things like Belcher and random Morrowind segments that I want to do, etc. while still doing plenty of card games. What's causing the Belcher hype? There's spells that double as lands, but their front sides are spells. Rhonas is the easy play out here against something that looks to be controlling, because Rhonas will survive a sweeper, which is great. I would love a land. Thank you, opponent. I appreciate you. Yeah, Morrowind's been fun. I plan to fit in all the different variety games in the queue and some Morrowind segments between now and when the Magic set releases next week. So, set releases 7 days from today, actually, on the 17th. The next Hoaglandia Open is on the 19th. Be interested to see if we get people to sign up for that. We had like 6 signups last I checked. We currently have 6 people signed up 9 days out. Interested to see if people end up interested in playing standard. That could have been a mistake. Picking a standard format. I kind of think I just want a Primal Might here. Just smack them for a bunch. So, like, do this, smack you for 12 down to 3. It's the same day as the CFB Pro Showdown. Let me tell you that that's irrelevant, and if our numbers are bad, it will in no way be bad because of Channel Fireball running a single elimination tournament that they announced after we announced ours. So, our previous tournaments have also run up against Channel Fireball and other things that have been running tournaments the day of, and if this event doesn't hit like at least 64 players and or doesn't have good viewer counts, we'll probably never do standard as a Hoaglandia event again. Because if people aren't excited to play and or watch standard at set release, the format is just it's unredeemable. Is all there is to say about it. Yeah, I'm hoping that that's the case, Pomoyne. I'm hoping people are waiting to, like, see what's in the set so they can brew a little bit more. Obviously, we're 9 days out. Magic players tend to be last minute. I think we cut Lovestruck Beast here because it requires keeping a 1/1 in play. I think we actually keep Primal Might because it's like a removal pump spell split card where we need to get through Uros and stuff on occasion. I don't think this is a Snow Leopard matchup. I don't think their archetype plays too many counter spells. There's no way you'll have bad viewership with Liquid Standard. Yeah, we'll see, Moose. I'm hoping. And like I've talked about, at the end of the day, like, the amount of people watching the stream is more important than the number of people playing in the tournament. Like, I'd like at least 64-ish people so we can get an okay number of rounds to cover. But, like, at the end of the day, I'm not making money on entry fees. My goal in running these events is to provide coverage for them for stuff to watch. Yeah, I actually had someone submit a Winota deck with Lotus Cobra, which seems really good. Lotus Cobra seems like an absurd Winota enabler in Standard. It lets you cast turn 3 Winota and then attack and trigger her. Seems quite excellent. What's the payoff? Just good value humans. There's no combo style card to get anymore. You're just like using Winota to generate fair card advantage. Kenrith will still be legal, right? He's technically a payoff. He was Eldraine, right? He's the Eldraine box topper. Yeah. Those unplayable buy a box promos, chat. You know, Kenrith the Returned King and Nexus of Fate. People are naming cards that I don't think were buy-a-box cards, right? Yeah, Haktos is a good payoff. Let's get, they have another Doomblade here. They have Heartless Act for Questing Beast. They're gonna be pretty far behind. They have 5 cards in their bin, so any Fabled Passage or Growth Spiral or anything like that, Thoughtseize lets them escape Uro this turn. And we probably can't beat Escaped Uro. So I have to stop and pressure the Nissa a little bit here. They have a 3rd removal spell. We're probably just done and gone. I assume they'll trade with Barkhide Troll here to get their last card they need to escape Uro. And then, the fact that they had the removal spell here means I can't get Great Henge down next turn, which should eradicate any chance I had of catching up. Take a draw step here. If we peel like a Steel Leaf champion, we might be okay. Even Uro's champion spell is good. Yep. Accurate. I think I bottom Primal Might here. They're pretty likely to have a Doomblade for Yorvo, so I'd like backup Yorvo to follow it up, I think. Are they playing a standard deck against us? No, Growth Spiral's banned in standard. As Cantor rotated too, sure. That card wasn't really relevant in why they won, though. I'm attacking before playing. I didn't play Scavenging Ooze pre-combat because I was expecting them to kill Yorvo when I attack, so this lets me play the other Yorvo out. Which is nice. I think the reason I'm looking forward to standard rotation most is I think even if standard has problems after rotation, I'm looking forward to the problems that it has being a little bit different than the other formats. Because right now, like, historic feels very similar to standard with just like a couple extra cards in it. And once like the mana bases are different, like historic will have Shockland, standard won't, etc. I think the formats will like feel a little bit more unique. Uro will still be present in both. You know, unless they decide to, you know, fix that issue. But at the core of it, a lot of the other details will be very different. Like, the fact that mana bases are built very similarly in Standard and Historic right now, I think gives the formats a very samey feel, past just the spells. Ooh, that's a good thought. I should give it a counter to player on Heartless Act. Yeah, even if Uro is still a thing in... Even if Uro's still a thing in Standard coming up, it won't be joined by Hydroid Krasis and Nissa anymore, which is a big deal. I mean, Historic's a year old, but it has cards like the age of the format is a lot less relevant than the depth of the card pool. So, like, saying this format is X old as if it's indicative of anything, it really isn't. Historic in that way is actually very difficult to measure compared to a lot of traditional Magic formats because of the way that they're back adding cards to it too. Very, very unique aspect. Please cast a Hydroid Krasis for 4. Hungry boy. Please die. You got it? That is a legal mode on that card. Alright, they're at 3. Dead to Questing Beast and Nissa land upticks. Nailed it. Do you have targeted the elf in case they had Eliminate? No, I wanted to play around Heartless Act Kennex, which is what they had. I think they're more likely to have a bunch of Heartless Acts than a bunch of Eliminates. Alright, I'm into it. I think we lead on Yorvo because it gets triggers for putting other green things into play. That's a good draw. Charge. Oh, I guess I do offer this trade with this attack. Am I okay with that? I think I'm okay with that. Yeah, it's probably fine. They have no board. Is Llanowar Elves good in the mirror? It's also good on the play. It's also good on the play. Again, one of the things I really hope they spend time trying to balance in Magic at some point is giving the player on the draw some kind of advantage. Because play versus the draw is very skewed in Magic the Gathering. Really love that they innovated with the mulligan system in the game, and I think there could be similar innovations made with play draw balance. Aeonius, thank you for the 14 months. I really appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I can hear the screams of Magic boomers from here talking about that. You're not wrong. Crunch. The trolls are going to war, chat. Wait, wrong game, sorry. Ted Beardsley, thanks for the 2/3 of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Our deck has some fat bottom girls. I am told they make the rockin' world go round.
We will adapt to any threat.
Hey Ziggs, thanks for the 15 months. Yeah, so the evening segments aren't going to be bonus streams anymore. They're just going to become the new normal. So if I give this another plus, it'll be 12 and they'll die, right? Good chat, good chat. So after talking over with Christy and looking at her schedule and my schedule, what we could do, my job has a little bit more flexibility than hers, so we're going to try a few hours earlier in the morning than what I'd been doing, and then a few hours every evening. So if you're someone that's watching this on YouTube in the future, maybe check my calendar and I could be live and you could drop in. 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Cornfield time is going to be the evening time slot. Mono green mirror. We boarded out Steely Champion last time. I think I'm okay with that. For sharing Runeterra on the iPad. She, I need to just remember to log out and log her back in. She doesn't generally play during the day because she's working. Get just bored like that. Sorry, boarded last time. Hey, Daubert, thanks for the 24 months. Welcome back. Buy another iPad. I don't know about that one. So something I talked about, the people that have been here for a while will remember, is before we entered a global pandemic, I had previously been planning to finish the only unfinished room in my basement into a studio space. And since then, priorities have changed a little bit. And we took the money we had saved for that, plus a little bit extra, because it's not cheap, and we're putting a playground in the backyard for the kids. That's supposed to be here in a few weeks. So, little bit late for this year, but they'll get to use it next summer, and I'll probably play on it over the winter, too. Into the fall. Half your chat is working right now. That's fair. That's fair. I think we just trade. What's going on, Hexa? Yeah, especially with Haley being new, we figured we'll probably get a decade's worth of use out of it or more, so it seemed like an okay investment. We don't. We intend for this house in which we currently live in to be one that we stay in until we're old. Until we're old fogies. I'm gonna go ahead and eat the graveyards here now before they get a chance to. Is Twitch chat gonna assemble the furniture? We're gonna have a professional do it. We have a landscaping company coming out to put down like rubber tiles down under it. Christy has a vision in her mind of what she wanted to do, and we figured we might as well do it right. Hey, Cyrix, thanks for the 12 months. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. This isn't a fight, right? Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. Yeah, that's great. So we get to have this shoot this. What if I have to move because of my job? He's got jokes. He's got jokes. Ice Boy, thank you for the very generous tier 2. I appreciate the 7 months. Welcome back. It's a bite, not a fight. That's a good way to put it. It's a bite. Chat told me they're astronaut, lawyer, doctors. Why wouldn't they know how to assemble a jungle gym? Listen, chat, my children are going to play on this thing. I want it to be stable. This is a good hand. I think we keep Scavenging Ooze in the dark rather than Barkhide Troll. Have a good 1, 2, 3 curve though. For $50, I will haul some mostly not sharp metal ingots into your backyard. Is this a Grixis deck? Goblins. Okay, so it's just red-black goblins. Got it. Stability in 2020, absurd. Yeep. Yeep, yeep, yeep. All the big-time influencers live in LA. Speaking of big-time influencers, did you see the article that apparently Mr. Beast, FaZe Clan, and Jeffree Star Cosmetics all took small business PPE loans, or PPP loans, whatever they're called, for COVID relief to the tune of 6 to 7 figures each? Alright, well, I get to kill Kranko at least, I guess. He's gonna get 1 activation in. How large was my loan? I didn't take one. I got a stimulus check in the mail. Like most Americans. With Donald J. Trump's signature on it. The United States government sent out a one-time $1,200 stimulus check at the beginning of the pandemic. Are you joking, or do they really put Trump's signature on the check? They really put Trump's signature on the check. I am not joking. I wish I was. Alright, so last time we boarded down Cage and extra pieces of removal. Yeah, they delayed sending the checks out so they could put his signature on it. Actually, maybe I'm supposed to keep Arkbow Ranger here because it's extra removal. Removal seems pretty important. Okay. You get to cage the elephant this game. Steel Leaf Champion and Questing Beast are both very good in this matchup. Questing Beast especially, because it plays defense and offense simultaneously. Sad control player. What an apt Twitch username. Thank you for the 27 months. Welcome back. Hey, Jeff of Fish. Welcome to a live one. Hope you're staying safe out there. If this early morning time slot is good for you, you'll be able to catch me on the regular again. It's going to be one of my regular stream segments moving forward. Pittsburgh Phil, thanks for 11 months. We're doing some early mornings as well as some evening segments. Yeah, Arkbow also lets you trample over, which is nice. I appreciate everyone's understanding in changing schedules. Usually I like to take things and stick to it, but extraordinary times. Yeah, I posted the schedule changes on Twitter last night. Yeah, it's because of remote learning stuff. Christy, so we've been doing remote learning for 3 weeks now, but Christy just started her job back up working from home this week. So me working earlier in the day is better for her job. I'm trying to balance both of us being able to do what we do. Well, like, if you look at the way I sideboarded, Jorg, I didn't cut cards that allow me to race. I cut expensive pieces of top end. I don't know about good, Dad. I would just say Dad. I don't think you should, like, one of the things that's really crappy in the society in which we live is how often men are awarded credit for just doing things for their children they should be doing anyways. It's like when I was a stay-at-home dad, before streaming turned into a job, it was like the number of people that were like, oh, you're so great taking your kids to the park. It's like, well, yeah, they're my kids and I want to take them to the park. Like, that's what parents do. Yeah, you're often considered babysitting when you're the dad. I think I'm happy with how I boarded. And yeah, just to highlight the board plan for people just coming in, I've cut our kind of more expensive top-endy things to bring in Cage and Ram through. The only thing you could argue that I maybe cut that could be considered pressure is Scavenging Ooze, but that card's not that aggressive anyways in this matchup. You're not a real parrot, you're like an occasional butler. Congrats. This hand's okay. Obviously, we'd prefer every hand to have a Llanowar Elf in it. Speaking of, I think one of the single most impactful things that could be coming in Pioneer Masters this fall is Elvish Visionary. Now, Elvish Mystic. For those of you at home taking notes, you will note that I skillfully left Llanowar Elves on top of my deck when I kept this hand, so that way I could avoid having it thought seized. Bad Magic players would keep Llanowar Elves in their opener. Skillful Magic players, such as myself, will leave it on top of the deck, so that way it's immune to a discard spell. Howdy, Momsten. Good morning. What a skillful play. Exactly. Magic is a skill game, chat. Please explain again. So, For those of you trying to master this keeping the Llanowar Elves trick on top of your deck at home, this trick is much easier in paper. I would refer you to Pro Tour Top 8 competitors who have done things such as marking their Tron lands to ensure that their cards are where they need them when they need them. There are two amazing things that digital Magic has done for competitive Magic. The first is that cheaters can't cheat in digital Magic, which is awesome. The second is that digital Magic as a competitive outlet has basically ensured that we've eradicated limited as a form of competitive Magic, which is just wonderful. Having all the high-level events be constructed is great. What about the Shuffler? We all know the Shuffler is ranked. Harsh but fair. I'm going to keep this hand, and I'm going to get Goblin Chain Whirlered on 3, or Mayhem Deviled on 3, and I'm going to curl up into a little ball and cry. I'm glad people enjoy playing Magic in Limited. Lots of different ways people enjoy playing Magic is great. But from a viewer perspective, the average lower power of Limited games leads for less interesting, stimulating, engaging gameplay for people to watch at home. So if I Primal Might this, that just doesn't work out right. Do I just play Skews for them to kill? Maybe. I have played some Hearthstone in the past. I think Hearthstone's core gameplay is okay. It's reasonable. Hearthstone really lacks deck building depth though, which is the big thing that grabs me and keeps me interested in games as someone that mostly plays constructed. Hearthstone's class system isn't really conducive to having lots of interesting deck building decisions. Oh, Magic. Never forget, this stream is pre-recorded in front of a live Twitch audience. I think I'm just cutting Llanowar Elves in this matchup. Just gonna try and curve out naturally. Maybe Ram Through's good. Ram Through's probably good. Yeah, that was actually about the time for my head. I played Hearthstone for like 3 to 4 months. I spent way too much money on it. Hearthstone's economy is arguably more predatory and expensive than Arena's economy, which is saying something. It's very, very expensive to get a completionist Hearthstone collection. I think I ended up dumping like $1,200 into Hearthstone to get into like a 4-set standard format. It was not friendly at all. Trump paid for Hearthstone account, something like that. Yeah, I agree, Drunk Owl. Especially, like, the fact that Runeterra, like, basically already has 8 colors, and they plan to go up to 10 colors, should give that game a pretty deep deck building depth as it goes on. Okay, so they almost assuredly have light up the stage here, so I think with Barkhide Troll drawn, we Primal Might fight the Soulscar Mage. Hey, it's Crispy. Thank you very much for the Prime support. I appreciate you shipping your Prime this way this month. There's a lot of great people you could send that to. Thanks for keeping me employed. Hey, thanks for the 12 months, Arya. Sorry. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Let's get you a sword to go with that shield. So this cannot block currently. Have to have another creature to power 4 or more. That being said, it still has 5 attacks sitting in play, so I get to drop the Great Henge. I'm going to go ahead and just diddle this now to gain my 2 life before I miss it. So any creature at this point, we probably snowball this game out of control with the Great Henge. Whale poop. I enjoy resource variance. It's fun. It's a good mechanic. Rhonas is all alone. There's no one here beside him. Do 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 do. Alright, I'm gonna teach you all a life hack. I'm gonna double activate Rhonas here, so that way it doesn't ask me to auto pass anymore. It's the next level arena game strats. I have to save this to block. See, over-under Muxus wins the tournament. I mean, incredibly likely, right? Over a third of the field is playing it. Is that the wrong icon? It said I'm Diamond 3 there, right? Is that the right? Am I misremembering? I must be misremembering. Is the Diamond 4 icon smaller than this? Did it change it? I feel like... Hey, Whipping Rhinos, thanks for the 17 months. Welcome back. And this is the Amonkhet board, because you could hear the audio got louder as we entered the loading screen. At least this bug, at least the audio being louder bug, won't be on display in the Invitational this weekend because the direct challenge matches don't use these game boards. Because why would you want to showcase your variety of game boards at your highest level tournament showing what your digital card game is capable of doing in terms of being a video game? At least I have sick music to listen to while my opponent times out. Alright, this is my firstborn, and I would like to keep it. This is my first begotten elf knight. It is mine. You leave it alone. Keep your grubby paws off of my firstborn elf knight. Don't do it. Have a heart. I feel like I'd be kind of surprised if our archetype is super playable as long as this Jund Oven deck is very competitive. Like, claim the Firstborn is just such a huge beating for our archetype. Like, our decks felt reasonable in other places, but like, how do we ever beat this? Maybe they don't have another creature, so they can't kill my elf. We're really lucky they can't kill my elf here. Alright, they're just baking our Firstborn into a pie. And he's a big boy, so we get 2 pies out of him. You know what I want to know, chat? This Steel Leaf champion is very clearly riding a Kavu, and this creature does not have the Kavu creature type, and they refuse to reprint Flametongue Kavu into Historic on Arena. Is there a conspiracy against Kavus that runs deep into Wizards of the Coast? Is there a dark ploy against my favorite beastly subtype? The Kavu Deep State is running Arena, exactly. Since Hasbro took over, they've been careful about things that insult our lizard overlords. Speaking of our lizard overlords, not that you really needed another reason to not vote for Donald Trump, but he offered up potentially nominating Ted Cruz as a Supreme Court justice if a seat opens up and Donald Trump is still president. So, you know, vote for Biden this fall, thanks. Easy cuts here. Armored Killer's great here, obviously. Lovestruck Beast actually seems kind of mediocre. They have a lot of things that could chump block. Do we want Ram Through? Is this a Ram Through matchup? Feels like a ram through matchup. Yorvo, not stellar either. I guess Yorvo's really good with Armored Killer, though. Is that Great Henge out matchup? I think it's a Great Henge out matchup. Let's try this. Lovestruck gives you more bodies to sack. Yeah, but Mayhem Devil is not fun. In it to win it, chat. In it to win it. Ceratops could be okay. I just have so many 4s at that point is the issue. With Cage, not having mutate targets is less of an issue. We might just play this out as a 4/4 trampler. Depending on what our draw steps look like. What's our best draw here? Like Barkhide Troll? Llanowar Elves could be indicative of them going as big as Citadel. They're notably not playing the Companion. Yeah, I really like the Borderless War basics. I think they look good. Alright, it's a turn late, but not too bad. I mean, to be fair, Beansy, the world's not magically going to get better in 2021. Also, one thing that I think as someone who tries to keep people politically informed and involved on this channel is, I saw a post from DeFranco that I thought was really good and worth sharing, is setting reasonable expectations for the election this fall. And by that, I mean, with so many people likely to be voting by mail, it is incredibly likely that we will not have election results the day of the election. There's been some polls that have gone around that have shown that a lot of people expect that to be the case, when it's really not likely. Rudy is Austin Powers. Thank you for the 2 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I think we're just passing here, right? I don't really want to trade this for their 3 creatures, especially not with Primal Might in hand. It should not make you nervous that that is the case. There is a reason why we vote in November and the president doesn't take office till January 20th, is it? In California, where voting by mail is very common, it often takes a few weeks for things to for all the results to get in. That is normal and expected. No fight against Ghost Rider. I'd rather pump and fight next turn. I mean, it's definitely not just the president who wants everything now. People listing states that have been voting by mail for a while that always have fast results. The key thing to understand in what you're saying is your state's been doing it that way for a long time. Your states like Oregon, for example, how densely populated is Oregon on average? How does it compare to places like New York or, you know, densely populated cities in California, where things can take longer sometimes? I was going to ask, should I play around Collected Company, but we don't have to. Yeah, I think we're saving this for a high priority must-kill threat. States with these fast results allow for counting of ballots before Election Day, which key battleground states do not do. That's a good piece of information, too. So in places where it happens more quickly, they're starting counting them in advance, which makes a lot of sense. It's a very good distinguishing factor for people to be aware of. So this is like an oven then? Yep, some people have in-person absentee polling stations already set up for early voting. Also, if you're someone that's getting your ballot in the mail and you're concerned about your ballot making it back in time with postal delays that we've been experiencing in the United States, most places, all places, most places at least, have places where you can drop your ballot in person, contactless. No, we played that to start the day, our mate. It'll be up on YouTube tonight. Or this afternoon. This afternoon. New schedule, new words. So they're at a virtual 14 currently. They are dead. I mean, they technically weren't dead on board. They had food they could eat, but they couldn't catch back up anymore. This felt fine. The times where you curve like Elf into Steel Leaf into Questing Beat felt genuinely powerful. I feel like this style of archetype's really gonna struggle to be super consistent until we get Elvish Mystic in Pioneer Masters, most likely into this format to get a second Llanowar Elf. It really just feels like the power level of the draws in this deck are just very different when you have an Elvish Mystic or Llanowar Elf style effect on one and when you don't. For people that aren't familiar, Elvish Mystic is literally just Llanowar Elf with a different name. So like, once that gets added to this format, you'll just get to play 8 1-mana accelerators. As you know, if you've played this deck or you watch us in this set, all of our best draws start with this card. Birds of Paradise is not legal in Pioneer, no. So I think that'll be pretty big upgrade for this. I think my one big takeaway from playing this deck is that Primal Might was a card that really impressed me. I kind of expect this card to continue to be something that people play probably in Standard too. While it's a sorcery speed fight effect feels a little bit bad in the early turns, the fact that it's a fight for 1 mana if you have big creatures is powerful, and the fact in the mid to late game that it gives you like kind of like this green fireball in a way on the right board state is also very good. So deck felt somewhat reasonable. Honestly, I don't know, maybe this is an overreaction, but I almost think that as long as Muxus is legal, I might just fit a 4th Cage in this sideboard. I feel like when we have Cage against the Goblins deck or the Sack decks, the Oven decks, Cocoa decks, we're in a really good spot. And when we don't have Cage, their decks are just so much more powerful than ours. So I feel like that's like the one piece of feedback I would give on the list as is while we wait for that other accelerant is just play a 4th Cage. Just like the matches where you board it in, you always want it. It's excellent. Nah, I don't think you main board Cage. I think that's an overreaction. But yeah, I'd cut something and play 4 Cages. I mean, you have 4 Scavenging Ooze for the God Pharaoh's Gift decks. So that's like not terrible. All right, at any rate, we are going to shift gears and do some Rune Terra up next. For folks that are my regulars, you might have noticed I started earlier today, so my schedule is posted. I'm going to be doing 8:30 to 11:30 in the mornings from now on. And I'm also going to be adding evening segments from 7 to 10. My evening segments are largely going to be not Magic until the new set drops, just doing a little bit of Historic here and there while Magic's currently a Rotato waiting to be baked. So a week from today, we'll be amping up the volume of Magic content that I'm doing. Between now and then, I'm going to do a little bit more Rune Terra and a little bit of variety segments, so we're going to switch on over to Rune Terra for the rest of the day today. I'm going to play some Twisted Swain to start.